We're digging up the first ever searcher shaft on Oak Island.
True, true.
Well, we think.
That we know of.
Yeah.
That's right.
But the big goal is to get good, solid pieces of the shaft so we can do dendrochronology on it. That'll give us an excellent date.
Think of the money pit as the bank vault. For over 200 years, that's where everyone has been digging. But the team may have just found the bank teller station half a mile away on Lot 5, a brand new discovery of a deep iron object found buried with old glass and pottery isn't just a random find. It's an archaeological scene.
See right there?
Yep. There's more stuck up.
It's stuck up like this.
Right now, with what we're seeing, the wood looks similar to what we saw in Shaft 2, but we need to uncover more to figure this out.
It suggests a permanent working structure, and it's located mere feet from the clues that could finally connect the entire Oak Island mystery to the Knights Templar. Not just a spoil pile. All the action, all the drama, all the mystery of Oak Island seems to laser focus on one spot: the money pit. It's the deep, dark hole that has swallowed fortunes and dreams for over 2 centuries. But here's the catch. The entire time, the real answer might have been sitting just under the surface, nearly half a mile to the west. We're talking about Lot 5, and what the team just found there isn't just another coin.
I'm sure when it gets back to the lab, they'll run scans on it and test it and see what caliber it is.
It's a game changer. So, here's the deal. Metal detection expert Gary Drayton and Peter Fernetti were working with the archaeology team led by Fiona. They were investigating the large, mysterious stone foundation near the shoreline, specifically sifting through the spoil piles, the dirt that was already dug up last year from the strange round feature. But Gary wasn't just checking the old dirt, he was also scanning the ground around it. And get this, the government of Nova Scotia designated this part of Lot 5 as a special place back in 2024. That means it's an archaeologically sensitive zone. Gary and Peter can't just dig. If they get a hit, they have to stop and call in the archaeologists. This isn't a treasure hunt anymore, it's a careful excavation. Almost immediately, Gary got a hit. Not in the spoil pile, but in the ground next to it in situ. That means it's been undisturbed. Fiona came over and carefully dug. It was small but significant. A tiny, squashed piece of lead shot, a bullet. On its own, maybe not a wow moment. But what most people don't realize is that this find perfectly matches other gun-related artifacts found on Lot 5, like musket balls and a rifle ramrod guide.
But the more I look at it, and you see the notch there, and it's a socket. I think it's weapon or gun related. Kind of reminds me of a ramrod guide.
The crazy part. These items date as far back as the 17th century, more than 100 years before the money pit story even began. Someone was on this lot, armed a long time ago. But they were just getting started. He got another hit, this time iron. It looked like a piece of a door hinge, or maybe part of a locking mechanism. This is another wow factor hiding in plain sight. If people were here in the 1600s, they had things to lock. They weren't just camping, they were securing something. Then it happened. Gary got a screamer, a loud, high-pitched signal that meant a large metal target, and it was deep. Fiona came running. She began to dig carefully, trowel in hand. This was in worm tickler territory, as Gary said, about 10 inches down. But as she cleared the dirt, she froze. It wasn't just one thing. She saw the glint of glass. Not modern, clear glass, but old green glass.
Wow, that's different from all the other ones we've found.
You know what? Look, see the striations on it?
Yeah.
That means it's a wound bead.
Well, what's a wound bead?
It's just a different technique that they used. The other Venetian beads that we had found previously, they would have taken a long string of glass and kind of pulled it out and cut it.
Then she saw a piece of coarse earthenware pottery, and right next to them, the big iron object that set off the detector. This was not a random collection of junk. This was a cluster. Fiona made the call. Stop the dig. Why? Because when an archaeologist finds multiple different types of artifacts from the same period, all buried together in one small hole, it's not a trash pit. It's a feature. It could be the corner of a foundation, the inside of a small cellar, or part of a structure they never knew existed. And the most shocking part of all? This new feature, this cluster of iron, glass, and pottery, was found just 4 feet away from where the team found the starburst and spiral buttons, the very artifacts that could link Oak Island to the Knights Templar. This wasn't just another find, it was a scene. And it was pointing right at the island's oldest secret. But this new cluster of artifacts wasn't found in a random patch of woods. It was found right next to a much larger mystery. The Angel's Darkest Secret. To understand why this new page is so shocking, you have to know the original story from the Book of Enoch. The standard version is already pretty wild. It says that 200 of these Watcher angels landed on Mount Hermon. They were led by an angel named Semyaza. They saw human women and lusted after them. This was their first sin. They made a pact, binding each other with curses to go through with their plan. They came down, had relations with the women, and the women gave birth to giants, the Nephilim, who were said to be 450 feet tall.
There's some sort of rock platform here. So it's not well seated in the organics, and the inference is that it was placed there and not deposited by a glacier. That makes it interesting.
Giants ate all of mankind's food, and when the food ran out, they began to eat humans. But that's not all. The Book of Enoch says these fallen watchers taught humanity forbidden knowledge. An angel named Azazel taught men how to make swords, knives, and shields, basically the art of war. He taught women the art of deception, how to make jewelry and apply makeup. Other angels taught the secrets of sorcery, astrology, and cutting roots for medicine, basically everything that would lead humanity astray. Now that's the story we had, and it's already a lot. But this newly discovered page, this lost chapter found in the Garima Gospels, adds a layer that is so much darker. The crazy part is, the old text was just a summary. The new text is a detailed account. It says the Watchers' greatest sin wasn't just teaching us to make weapons. Their sin was teaching us to want to use them. The lost chapter describes humanity before the Watchers as being incomplete. Peaceful, yes, but also simple. The text says we were designed to walk with the earth, living in harmony. We had no inner fire, no burning ambition, no rage, no concept of self above the group. The Watchers saw this, and they didn't just teach us, they altered us. The lost chapter describes a ritual where the Watchers opened the mind of man. They didn't just give us knowledge, they implanted a seed, a shadow of their own fire. This seed was the real knowledge of good and evil. It was the seed of ambition, of greed, of ego, and of the capacity for ultimate self-destruction. The text.
So what's going on over here?
When we first expanded westward, we thought that this stone line feature was going to continue. We assumed that this was where the house structure had sat, and that was just a basement.
Text is very clear. It says the Watchers didn't just corrupt us with ideas, they physically changed us. They unlocked something within the human blueprint, something that God had intentionally left dormant. It was a glitch, a crack in the design that they forced open, and through that crack they poured in their own essence, pride, rebellion, and chaos. The Nephilim, the giants, weren't just a byproduct of their lust, they were the first experiment. The new chapter calls them a failed attempt. The successful attempt was what they did to us. The Watchers didn't just teach us, they rewrote our very being. The truth about human nature. So, here's the deal. This lost chapter presents the most terrifying knowledge of all. It's the idea that our worst impulses aren't really ours. Think about it. Why does humanity again and again choose conflict? Why is history just a long list of wars, one after another? Why do we build things only to tear them down? According to this ancient text, it's not just human nature. It's a
Oh, I think I found it.
The metalhead?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Looking like a button.
corruption in our code. This seed or glitch that the Watchers planted, the text calls it the ticking time bomb inside the human soul. This knowledge is terrifying because it removes our sense of control. It suggests that every time a person feels consuming rage or jealousy or an unquenchable thirst for power, they are not just having a bad thought. They are feeling the echo of the Watcher's rebellion. What most people don't realize is this makes us a hybrid race. Not physically, but spiritually, we are part designed and part corrupted. The Lost chapter explains that this is why humans are the only creatures on Earth that actively work against their own survival. A deer doesn't build a factory that pollutes its own water. A bird doesn't create a weapon that can wipe out its entire species. But we do. And we do it all the time. The text describes this corruption as a hunger that cannot be filled. It's why billionaires need more billions. It's why empires need to conquer one more country. It's a spiritual sickness, a fever of the soul that the Watchers infected us with. And the most terrifying part of all, the chapter says it's permanent. It's passed down from generation.
It is starting to curve in, which is bizarre. It doesn't make any sense, but it's too big to be a house. It's an occupational spot for sure.
Turned us into its masters, and in doing so, cursed us to destroy it and ourselves. This knowledge is devastating. It suggests that our struggle for peace isn't a simple choice between good and bad. It's a constant internal war against a foreign infection that has been part of our DNA for thousands of years. The terrifying knowledge isn't about a monster coming from the sky, it's about the monster that's already inside. This glitch has a purpose, and it's leading us to a final dark end. The secret keepers of Ethiopia. This raises a huge question. If this knowledge is so important, why haven't we heard it before? Why was this chapter hidden? And why was the entire book of Enoch banned from the Standard Bible in the first place? The answer is a cover-up, an ancient conspiracy. What most people don't realize is that the book of Enoch was extremely...
There would have been topsoil and trees here, but because of erosion, all this has gone. So anything lost in this area would have dropped down, and hitting rock bottom is actually good.
Popular in early Christianity. Many of the first church fathers quoted it. The biblical letter of Jude, a pre-money pit operation. For 225 years, the entire Oak Island legend has been built on one single story. In 1795, 3 teenage boys discovered a depression in the ground, a tackle block in a tree, and began to dig, finding the first flagstones of the money pit. That's the story. But that story is now, without a doubt, wrong, and the new discovery on Lot 5 is the final nail in that coffin. Here's what most people don't realize. The artifacts on Lot 5, the gun parts, the buttons, and now this new cluster of 17th century glass and pottery are all consistently dating to the 1600s. We're talking somewhere between 1620 and 1680. That is, at minimum, over 100 years before Daniel McGinnis and his friends supposedly stumbled on the money pit. This changes, well, everything. It means the original depositors weren't the ones who dug the money pit in the late 1700s. The real original depositors were on Lot 5 a full century earlier. It means the story doesn't start at the money pit. It starts on Lot 5. Think about what this implies. A highly organized group, possibly the Knights of Malta or another Templar descended order, arrived on this tiny island in the 1600s. They weren't just passing through. They built permanent stone structures. They had a base of operations. They were here for years, maybe even decades, conducting a massive secret project. So here's the deal. What was that project? This is where the money pit comes back in, but in a totally new way. The evidence on Lot 5 suggests it was the command center. It was the base camp, the place where people lived, worked, and protected. So what were they doing? Maybe, just maybe, they were the ones who built the money pit. The construction of the money pit, with its flood tunnels and complex engineering, would have taken years and a massive coordinated effort. It's not something a pirate crew could do in a weekend. But a group that was already living on the island with a permanent stone base on Lot 5, they could do it. The new discovery of the iron glass pottery cluster is so important because it confirms the permanence of this operation. It proves Lot 5 was the home base. The money pit wasn't the start of the mystery. It was the result of the mystery that began on Lot 5. This shatters the old timeline and replaces it with a new, much older, and much more complex narrative. The team isn't just digging for pirate treasure anymore. They're digging into a highly funded secret operation from the 17th century linked to the most powerful secret society in history. But if all this is true, it leads to one final mind-blowing question that changes the hunt forever. So we have to talk down to earth for a minute. Let's look at the facts. The team has hard evidence: lead shot, iron, 17th century green glass, and coarse earthenware pottery. They have contextual evidence, a large man-made round stone foundation, and they have speculative evidence, ornate buttons that link to the Knights Templar. All of this evidence is on Lot 5. All of it dates to before the money pit. This new discovery, the cluster of artifacts, is now an official archaeological site. Because of the special place designation, the work will be slow, it will be careful. But the crazy part is that this find forces everyone to ask a new question. Lot 5 has just become the new money pit. But was this a Templar base or something else entirely? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.